All right, back on Mizzou Made Signing Day 2014, continuing to tell you about the new members of the Mizzou football family. We're joined now by Alex Grinch, our safeties coach, here to tell us about an exciting signee, a letter that came in this morning, Tavon Ross from Cochran, Georgia. And Coach, I know that Tavon is an exciting, electrifying player that we're really excited to have in the fold here.
Well, he is, and kind of earmarked him as a safety. Played high school quarterback for the bulk of his high school years. Played a little bit more safety this year. But a guy, again, and you'll hear this a number of times probably, the bulk of this class when you talk about athleticism, and he possesses it. Just a elite athlete, great explosion. And then combine that with his skills on the football field. We're absolutely thrilled to have Tavon here.
6 foot, 200 pounds from Bleckley County High School in Cochran, Georgia. Let's show you a little bit of video of Tavon Ross. 87 tackles, 6 picks. He took 4 of them to the house as a senior, and was also a 3-year starter at quarterback. And this was he ran spread, he ran option, he came under center. I mean, this kid's a pure athlete, isn't he?
Well, and he is, and that because he does so much, it really helped with the evaluation process. A lot of times in the defensive secondary, as you're evaluating guys on film, the film starts and then the film ends with them making an interception, but you kind of at times don't see the in-between. But when they play on the offensive side of the ball and you see them carrying the football, and obviously when you're playing quarterback, there's some trust that goes along with it, from a high school coach to probably his best athlete, and both mentally and athletically to have your have a guy that play quarterback. So it kind of speaks to the volume of what he's capable of doing, both mentally and physically. Again, with all that he does on the football field, kind of helps with the evaluation.
2013 All-Stater and All-Mid-Georgia performer, described as a hammer in the secondary. Hard hitter, isn't he?
Well, and he is. And he's a willing hitter, will throw his body around, physical football player. And again, a guy that does it both on both sides of the football. So he's running the football, putting his pads through people, finishing runs and those things, as well as in the defensive secondary coming downhill and making tackles. So again, just kind of has it all, and that's the best way to describe him.
Speed is an asset of his as well, isn't
it? It is, and you watch it. When you're making plays in the secondary, and you mentioned the interceptions and how many went back for touchdowns. He can get 0 to 60 in a second. I mean, he can flat go. And if you saw him on the basketball court, just elite explosiveness as well. I critique his jump shot. I've been to a basketball game, so I critique his jump shot, but from a pure jumping standpoint, he can leap out of the gym. So again, the future is very bright, and can't minimize how excited we are about getting him here.
That's good whenever they play multiple sports, isn't it?
Well, it does. I mean, and he's a guy, he's going to run track this spring, and he's kind of been a baseball guy up until now, but I think with the exception of soccer, he's played every sport that's offered there at Bleckley over his 4-year career. And then, again, just speaks to his overall athleticism. And, again, it helps with the evaluation. It absolutely does. When you see a guy on the basketball court or do some things on the track, it can just it's more evidence, and you're always looking for evidence in terms of determining those guys that can compete at this level.
Look at that unbelievable play he just made there, one-handed interception. Does that kind of sum up the athletic ability?
Well, it does, and he is extremely, and you probably don't hear this on a lot of recruits, but extremely large hands. And you'll see a lot of one-handed catches and as you go through his film. Size 14 shoe as well, so he may get a little bit bigger even, but yeah, he's special.
Can't wait to get him in the program here. That is Tavon Ross, defensive back from Bleckley County High School in Cochran, Georgia. Coach Grinch, we appreciate it.
All right, thanks so much.
Let's go back over to the big board. I think this is an exciting moment for our running backs coach, Brian Jones, because he is putting the magnet on the board of not only a recruit, but another member of this family, Ish Witter. And Coach, let's bring you over here and talk a little bit more about Ish Witter, one of the latest letters to come in here this morning. Running back from Alonzo High School in Tampa, Florida. 5'8", 195, rushed for 900 yards as a junior, 850 as a senior. 10 touchdowns this last year at Alonzo High School. And Coach, what sticks out to you about Ish Witter?
Well, you know, we looked at lots of video on lots of guys over the weeks there, and when we saw Ish's video, we just were really amazed at his quickness, at how he cut and changed direction without slowing down. I mean, he's got tremendous cutting ability. He's got tremendous acceleration. You see on video here. I mean, there's one thing that we look at. It's not only speed and quickness, but also when you can put one foot in the ground and change direction, going sideways and getting upfield on the next step. He really brings a lot to the table in this respect.
Also had 117 receiving yards as a junior and 246 receiving yards as a senior, so he's a multi-purpose guy.
Oh yeah, totally. You know, with how we use our running backs also in our offense, you know, not only as ball carriers and protectors of the quarterback, but we try to get these guys out in space where we can throw the ball to them and make things happen. Where, you know, we try and match them up against a linebacker, and where, you know, we think we have the athletic advantage there.
Tampa Tribune, first team all Hillsborough County down there in the Tampa area, and as you've mentioned, just an elusive and shifty running back.
Oh yeah, totally. He really fits in with the rest of the guys that we have. You know, we compared him style-wise, quickness-wise to Russell Hansborough, who is about almost the same size, ish, maybe a little bit bigger, but he brings a lot of quickness, cutting ability, acceleration to the table.
Read in an article he did down there in Tampa that he committed to Mizzou before he even visited here because he liked the diligence and the attention from the staff. How much commitment did you guys put in? I know it's all the recruits, but
yeah.
It sounds like you really made a connection there with him.
Well, you know, one thing I've said to him and my other recruits, you know, recruiting is about relationships, and that's something that I try to strike up with not only him but my other recruits there, and them getting to know me, but us getting to know them.
Let's move on and talk about another running back, and I think, Coach Jones, we can probably keep you right here to talk about Trayvon Walters.
Trayvon Walters.
5'10", 195, Manatee High School in Bradenton, Florida. And I tell you what, Don Barnes is going to have to get out the W's for the backs of the jerseys this year because we got a few of them. But tell us a little bit more about Trayvon Walters.
Also, another very talented young man. I mean, when you talk about a pure running back, you know, when you watch him play, he is a talented kid who makes a lot of things happen. And offensively, you know, he's very much along the same lines as the guys that we have in our program right now, where we get them in space, but he brings a lot of speed, quickness, and what I saw of him also was his vision. I mean, he saw things when he's running with the football. He knows how to make cuts. He knows where the hole's going to open up, and he's a big playmaker.
Tough and physical kid, it seems. Very strong, straight-ahead runner.
That's one thing that both Ish and Trayvon, they bring to the table. You know, when you're going to play in this league, it's great to have speed and quickness, but you got to be a tough runner.
As a junior in 2012, he rushed for over 1,200 yards, 16 touchdowns, followed that up with a 1,700-yard campaign as a senior, and he averaged over 7.5 yards per carry. So he's a producer, isn't he?
Playmaker. Yes, he is. You know, he's going to do a lot for us. He's going to really help us, and I'm really happy with both Trayvon and Ish.
You get that balance, don't you? You know, Ish, the shiftiness and the cutting ability, and then Trayvon, that power straight ahead. Can they really play off each other? Oh
yeah, without a doubt. And you know what's also great about these guys, you know, right now in high school they're between 190 and 195, and once we get them into our program, get them in the weight room and training with us, you know, one thing I really spoke with them about is they're going to be 210, 215-pound running backs in a few years.
Now, I asked Coach Henson about this from an offensive line perspective, but, you know, when you get these running backs in here, what are the first things they need to do to improve and really get on the right track in this program?
Well, you know, one thing that I really start out with them is the mental aspect of it, just understanding defenses. You know, knowing defensive fronts, but also, you know, with how the running backs are involved in the protection of the quarterback, working with the offensive line, knowing protection, knowing blitzes will be a big deal. And you know, I do not worry about them running the football in terms of their vision and so on. And one area that we all will always work on is just you know, breaking tackles and running hard with the football.
And they've got some good upperclassmen to learn from, don't they?
Without a doubt. Without a doubt, they do. So we got a good group here.
Coach, we appreciate it. Congrats, big day, and we'll see if we talk to you again before the end of the show.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
That's Coach Brian Jones telling us about a couple of the new running backs. Let's go back over to the big board. We've got another member to welcome to the Mizzou football family as Coach Dave Steckel is putting Roderick Winters' magnet up on the big board. Roderick Winters is a 5'11", 195-pound linebacker from Bowie High School in Arlington, Texas. This is the same program that produced Russell Hansbrough and Kip Edwards, among others. And we are joined by Coach Steck right now. Roderick Winters, what stands out about him from Arlington, Texas?
Well, I think the thing that's great about Roderick.
Hold up here, Steck. I got Greg Taylor on the phone right now. Just committed. Just all papers are in. Hold on a second.
Greg Taylor, it's awesome to be a Tiger, buddy. Congratulations. You're welcome. We are fired up here, and guess what's so cool about this? You're on live, dude. You know that? You are. Well, me and Coach Ford's beautiful faces on the screen, but you are on the phone right here, dude. Look at.
You can't see it.
And that's how awesome. It rolls on Mizzou Made Signing Day 2014.
Man. Hashtag Mizzou Made, man. We're happy for you, Greg. Awesome. Welcome to the family. All right, bud.
All right, that's perfect.
There's called ad-libbing.
Hey, we roll on the fly here. That's what you have to do on the football field and in the television studio. We'll learn more about Greg Taylor here in a little bit, but let's finish up talking about Roderick Winters. Again, a linebacker from Arlington, Texas, and what stood out to him as you evaluated Roderick?
Well, what happened to Roderick was he was kind of a raw guy his junior year, and he came up here for our football camp, and we, put him through some workouts, tested him. His numbers are just off the charts. I mean, he's a very explosive athlete, great long jumper, great vertical jump, great 40 time. And then we mixed that up with his film and stuff, and I think his upswing and his potential is going to be off the charts.
Started out as a wide receiver there, and I read that coaches went to him after his sophomore year and said, hey, we need numbers at linebacker. We need someone to move over, and he immediately became their leading tackler as a junior. What does that tell you about a kid that he's willing to do that and applied himself to it and got good at it?
Well, I think that, and I think also he's a very tough young man, which helps and attributes to his success. I think, and I'm not ready to put him in that category yet, but that, Sean Witherspoon was a wide receiver in high school and stuff. And Danny DeArmond, who's the head coach there now at the time, was his linebacker coach. And Danny does just a great job of coaching fundamentals and coaching football and stuff. So I think Roderick's upswing is going to be very, very high and very, very talented. He plays with great fundamentals, great shoulder skills. And, I'm excited to see where we can take off with him.
9 tackles for loss as a senior after I mentioned he led their team in tackles as a junior with 93. I have short area quickness written down here as a describer of him. What does that mean?
Well, short area quickness means in between the tackle box, the way he can move side to side with his lateral movement, his great use of hands, being able to get off blocks, be able to shock offensive linemen. I think that's what you're referring to.
And a mature kid, is that correct?
Very mature, very good student, wants to major in engineering, has great academics, great family life. Mom and dad are just stellar people and has a great upbringing. And the kid's a hard worker, both on and off the field, works very hard at his track skills now because it's the off season and stuff. So I think Roderick's going to really take off as not only a student athlete, but as a football player here.
And another sign here that even as recruiting efforts pick up in the South as we move to the SEC, that Texas pipeline is alive and well. A lot of talent down there, and I know you and several of the assistants continue to really beat the drum there for Mizzou down in Texas, don't you?
Yeah, I think over all the years of the Big 12 and building all those bridges with the coaches, with the athletes, we have a great brand that we can sell down there. And the other thing that's very, very important, I think, for us is when you get into an area, instead of hitting and missing, jumping all over the country recruiting kids, you build relationships with these high school coaches. And an example, Roderick's an example of that. He was an unknown quantity coming out of his junior year, and Danny DeArmond basically protected him for us.
And, let's talk a little bit more about some of these players that have come in. You mentioned Sean Witherspoon. I mean, we talked with Coach Pinkel at the top of the show, but the evaluation process that this staff puts players through has nothing to do with what you read on the internet. And it seems like it has paid off in spades over the years, and Roderick could be another example of that. These guys that come in and go through the Mizzou-made program and get the most out of their potential.
You know, I think that's a lot of it, but what we do as a staff and as a coaching staff is we evaluate the way we always have and what we do. And it's not so much, everybody has an opinion about athletes, but at the end of the day, it's what our opinion thinks. You know, I always tell everybody about, you know, I think my wife's beautiful, you know, someone else might not, but, you know, we're perfect together.
That's a good way to put it.
Yes, it is.
I'm gonna use that at home later today.
There you go. I had to throw a shout out to her because I'm hoping she cooks a hell of a dinner tonight.
Hey, you guys were in here yesterday at the snow working out and everything, so that's diligence.
That's diligence.
All right, thanks, Coach Stack. We
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it. We'll let you get back to work. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
That is Coach Dave Steckel telling us about Roderick Winters. A busy morning here at the Mizzou Athletics training complex. Roderick Winters, a linebacker from Bowie High School in Arlington, Texas, is just another example of a tough player coming here and getting into this program. A program that is in a pretty good spot after a 12-2 season, SEC East Division Championship, Cotton Bowl title. It was a great season in 2013 that we're rolling into 2014. And over the course of this show this morning, as we tell you about the new stars that are coming in to the Mizzou football program, we also want to relive that great 2013 campaign that just wrapped up, starting with the conference season and a couple of huge games on the road to start out Mizzou's second year in the SEC. Let's recap wins at Vanderbilt and Georgia.